Hey everyone, me Kevin here. I am so excited to announce that I have made a $500,000 contrarian bet into a stock that when you hear about it, you might think, wow, why would you buy that? Like, we're leaving the pandemic, that's stay at home. Like, no, that's stupid. Well, I don't think it is. And that's because I think it is a contrarian bet that has been oversold by Wall Street and has some serious legs. Folks, it is Peloton. Yes, Peloton, and I'll explain why. It might not be why you think. It has little to do with that silly little bike that you hear about at home. It's got a lot more to do with what else is happening. But here you go, folks. I bought 4,800 shares of Peloton for $104.31 on March 26th. I talked to course members about this at length that day. We analyzed it in depth. We talked about it in depth. We talked about buying it, talked about why we thought it was oversold. I haven't gotten a chance to do a video on the channel yet, so here it is. Here's my video on the channel about it. So I'm super excited about Peloton mostly, and this is the big one for me, mostly because of two factors, which I know I said big one, but it's really two factors. Factor number one, their acquisition, folks, of Precor. Anytime you go to a high-end gym or hotel, you see Precor equipment. This stuff is high-quality equipment. They've got high-quality products, but they don't have that Peloton software yet, right? That Peloton screen with the technology, the interactiveness with trainers or works. They don't have that. But they've got the quality machines, from ellipticals to weight training to rowers to various different kinds of products that Peloton just doesn't have right now. I mean, even to the fact of going to a high quality, look at this, $1,200 for a bench. But they actually sell these things. And I'll tell you why they sell these things, and it's the big reason, well, my first big reason as to why I really like Peloton buying Precor. So Peloton prides itself on quality, and I have two bikes in my garage. I have a Peloton bike in my garage, and which was like $2,300 or whatever, and I have this $500 bike that I got from China in the garage as well. It doesn't have a monitor, it just has a little iPad stand, which I kind of like because then I can just like write things and stuff, which I can't do in the Peloton screen. I really like that $500 bike. But guess what really matters long term? Quality for commercial applications. And guess who's going to be spending money to get people coming back to gyms and hotels? Gyms and hotels. Gyms and hotels, my guess, are going to spend a ton of money to try to attract people to come back to gyms and hotels rather than work out at home. There is no doubt in my mind that Peloton is going to get into the commercial product space with high quality Precor manufacturing on top of Peloton's screen, their monitor, their interactiveness, Peloton fitness mats because they just acquired a smart mat company, and Peloton fitness watches because they just acquired a fitness watch. All of these can integrate into the training that Peloton obviously does with their monitors. This is really good. But combine this with the commercialization of their products for hotels and gyms, which will be coming in the future. We don't know that for sure yet, but we expect Peloton, because of their acquisition with Precor, and they say it in their latest report. They mentioned, we want to get into commercial products. They don't have any commercial products right now. We expect Peloton to get into interactive strength training in addition to cardio, which is a huge potential vertical strength training, which they don't even touch right now. They just do cardio, right? Right now, they're just doing the treadmill and the bike. And get into strength training, all the doors open up. Precor being a high-quality leader in that field is a big plus for Peloton, which also has the reputation for high quality. Now, all of a sudden, you start getting smart gyms inside of hotels. You create an endless opportunity for Peloton to be a way for gyms and hotels to attract people back during our recovery over the next few years. Now, it's going to take some time. Peloton does not have any kind of commercial products right now. They do not have strength training products right now. But it's because of this reason right here, this sort of Trojan horse that Peloton is doing, I think Peloton is highly undervalued. Right now, based on Wall Street consensus estimates, Wall Street trades for about 66 times forward price to earnings, and that is based on Wall Street's consensus estimates for 2024 earnings. But Wall Street also assumes that Peloton's growth is going to decline from 34% to just 23 to 22% in 23 to 24. This, in my opinion, totally misses the commercialization boom. That's rationale number one for throwing $500,000 into a contrarian bet like Peloton. Because we generally think of Peloton as stay at home. I see Peloton as the recovery for gyms and hotels over the next few years. So I think it's going to be a little hard for hotels and gyms to make really big investments anyway coming right out of the pandemic. So it's going to be a few years. But in a few years, as gyms and hotels really want to start growing again after they get back onto their footing, I think smart fitness equipment is going to be their big Trojan horse to get people to come back. And Peloton stands to be a massive beneficiary of making gyms more high quality and getting higher quality, well, like overall the products of quality, like the product quality up, but then also introducing new services in gyms like smart gym equipment that you can't really access at home unless you have a ton of money. I mean, the Peloton bike and the Peloton the treadmill, are expensive for what they are. But if you could get that quality at a gym, that'd be a gym I'd be interested in going to. All right, now, the second thing that I really like about Peloton is the pandemic really accelerated their ability to market without marketing. And that's really just the viral nature of Peloton and what we've seen during the pandemic. And that persists. Like, nobody's going to think in a year or two, my expectation, obviously could be wrong, right? Nobody, in my opinion, is going to think in a year or two that Peloton is all of a sudden low quality, right? So if a gym comes out and says, new partnership with Peloton gym equipment, blah, 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 we have feature Peloton equipment here, people who can't afford Peloton are going to want that experience. And going to a gym that has that kind of equipment is going to be very desirable. And if one gym does it, other gyms are going to have to compete. So you'll see, if let's say an LA Fitness starts, you'll see the 24-hour fitness come in. My expectation. Okay, now, the second thing that I really wanted to hit on was revenue. So the revenue and advertising. So take a look at this. Peloton's revenue doubled, more than doubled from 2019 to 2020. This makes sense. We were in a pandemic. And so did their subscription revenue. Their subscription revenue almost 3x'd. But take a look at this. Their sales and marketing expenses barely went up. Their sales and marketing expenses went up from 160 million to 177 million. This is barely a move up. And that's really because they didn't need to spend more money on marketing. They didn't need to spend as much money on commissions at malls to help people sell this product. The product was selling itself. In fact, Peloton has stated in this report that they purposely pulled back on advertising expenses because of supply chain issues, because they're so overbooked. They have so many sales. Now you might be thinking, but come on, Kevin, this is going to decline. Like, the sales are going to go down. It's a stay-at-home play. Why would you buy this now? Well, that was a suspicion of mine at first as well. But what I did is I pulled up the website rankings for this company just to kind of see, all right, what are our analytics looking like? And I compared them to other companies as well, whether it was Nordic Track or some of the other companies. Peloton had a very unique trend going for it. And it's very odd to think that Peloton would have this trend, given that if it's true, if we're reopening and people are less interested in Peloton, we would expect to see Peloton's website data fall, their website rank to fall. But take a look at what's actually happening at Peloton. The year started right here, January 2021, and the website traffic for Peloton has never been higher. This right here is 2021. Peloton's website rankings are not only increasing, you could see we've had some increasing right here. We had a little bit of a flat period here in March, and now we're increasing again right here going into April. This is very unique given that we are now way higher than where we were in 2020 during the big bulk of the pandemic. Maybe this is a symptom of people having stimulus checks that they want to spend on fitness equipment. And maybe, and this is another argument, maybe people realize like, hey, look, it's time to work out again, you know? COVID was a fun break from working out and really met the COVID-19, and maybe it's time to exercise again. Like, I'm not immune to that either. Like, I get it. So, you know, Peloton has potentially attractive staying power as a stock that, in my opinion, has been sold off as a stay-at-home play that's not in anymore. And I think Wall Street's really missing the boat on it. So those are a couple of the reasons that I really like this. But the other thing about Peloton, one of the complaints that I generally see when people talk about Peloton, or when people hear me talk about Peloton, one of the complaints is, I wrote it down here. Yeah, somebody mentioned that nobody uses their Peloton equipment anymore in the future, that it becomes a clothing rack, somebody said, and that they are basically products that flood the market of, what's it called, like Craigslist and eBay, and people just aren't interested in the product anymore. And yeah, that might be true, but the beautiful thing is, Peloton's churn is very, very low. Peloton's churn on a monthly basis is 0.74%, which if I annualize that, it comes out to about 8.6%, which they're growing at a way faster clip than that. They're growing, 4 times that right now. But the thing about Peloton gym equipment is this subscription model is very, very sticky. What that means is when people think about, oh, I should cancel my monthly subscription because I haven't used my Peloton in 6 months, they're actually in a weird way unlikely to cancel it because it's almost like they're agreeing to failure or admitting to failure. Wow, I'm canceling my subscription. Wow, I'm such a bum. I said I'd use this and I don't. And that feeling that I'll get back to it soon is exactly how the gym industry makes a lot of money. And I would expect the same will end up being true for Peloton in the long run. We'll see. So when you now combine some of these factors like fitness watch, fitness mat, potential strength training equipment, new cardio equipment like rowers or ellipticals. You combine it with the fact that maybe people want to exercise more going into a recovery and a reopening. In addition to the fact that in the future, gyms and hotels are going to be interested in investing more in creating attractive reasons for people to go to their gym or hotel rather than go to an Airbnb or rather than have a home gym. Why potentially go to a home gym or go to an Airbnb when you could go to a real gym or a hotel gym and experience some high quality smart fitness training equipment? This, in my opinion, is going to be a huge opportunity for hotels and gyms. Wall Street is blind to it. Peloton has brand established and their website analytics are going up to where they do not necessarily have to be worried about advertising more. They're growing like crazy. And Peloton has established itself as the Apple of fitness. It is a quality brand. Folks, Peloton for me is a big, long bet. My expectation is there's no reason why Peloton could not double in the next 2 to 3 years, certainly within the next 5 years, but between you and me, I think it'll happen sooner. I'm not looking to trade on Peloton. Peloton's a long buy and hold for me, but I've got a big fat position in Peloton now, and I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much for watching this, folks. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing. If you want a heads up on some of my big heavy buys before I make them, make sure to check out the program's link down below. The Stocks and Psychology of Money group with that coupon code that's available down below gets you in on those alerts and my high conviction analysis before I make those big purchases, when I make those big purchases, and before I'm able to release these videos on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and folks, we'll see you next time.